Welcome to the Chapter 5 Fair Game Review. This is the lesson in which we review all the necessary skills that will be useful for Chapter 5. So the first thing we're going to look at is combining like terms. So the directions are going to tell you to simplify each expression. One way that we do this, or that I've taught you to do this, is to possibly circle the like terms, so the 4x and the 5x, and then to maybe put a box around the other terms, which would be the 7 and the -2. Then you could group together, and that's kind of like, you could use the commutative property of addition like they did to rearrange the terms, however works best for you. But if you group together the circles, so you have 4 plus 5 to get the 9x, and a positive 7 plus -2 to get the positive 5, you get your simplified expression, okay? In example B, when you're adding together the variables, make sure that you know that if you don't see a coefficient, it's always assumed to be 1. So there's 1, 2, 3, 4 z's. So go ahead and try these on your own, or follow along with the note-taking. So when I look at the first term, I see a 5, and then I see a 4z and a -2z. So the 5 can stand alone, and then you have 4 plus -2 or plus 2z, okay? And the next one, in example 2, we see parentheses. So we have to first clear the parentheses using the distributive property. So 5c plus 40 plus c plus 3. So then we can circle the 5c and the c. And notice that I am enclosing the sign of the number. That helps you to know if it's a positive or a negative. So the 5c and the c become 6c, and the 40 and the 3 are a positive 43, and that's how we get our simplified expression. The next thing we're going to look at are multi-step equations. The difference here is you can see the equal sign. So the first step is to clear the parentheses and then combine any like terms that you need to do. Now, it's pretty crucial for you to see that what you're distributing is a -2. So that'll help you be successful, because -2 times 3x is this -6x, and -2 times 1 is -2. Now you can see that you can combine a 4x and a -6x in this step to get this -2x, and then -2. So now at this step right here, we're at a two-step equation, so we will add 2 to both sides to get rid of the 2. Remember, using inverse operations, that cancels out. So that you have -2x is equal to 18. Then we undo the multiplication by division, divide both sides by -2 to get your final answer. And then it's always wise to check your answer, and then that's how you know it's right. So to solve the equations, you would want to, in this case, check for parentheses, check for anything to combine, nothing to combine, so we will first get rid of the 8, so -8 from both sides. Don't forget your integer addition here. We have -5x is equal to a -15. Remember that when the signs are the same, you combine them and keep the sign. So now we want to divide by a -5, so x is equal to a +3. You could easily check your work by taking that +3 and substituting it back in. This is how you know you're doing it correctly, because then you would have a -15 plus 8 equals -7, and when you actually do -15 plus 8, you get the -7 equals -7, and that's how you know it's correct. Okay, in number 4, let's combine some like terms first, okay, on this side of the equal sign. So 7w plus w is 8w minus 15 equals the 17. So now we will add 15 to both sides. So we should have 32 on the right and 8w. It's positive. Divide by 8, divide by 8. So w equals 4. And again, you can substitute that back in and check your work. A couple more to try. These have parentheses. Make sure you understand that you are distributing a -3 and that this is a -8. So we get -3z plus 24, because a negative times a negative is a positive, plus 10 equals the -5. The terms to combine are the two numbers, or the two constants. So -3z plus 34 equals negative 5. So now we will subtract the 34 from both sides. So negative 3z is equal to a negative 39. Remember, you have two negatives, so you actually add them and keep the sign. So divide by negative 3, divide by negative 3, and we find z is equal to a positive 13, because 39 divided by 3, and two negatives make a positive. Again, you could substitute that back in, and I do highly recommend that when you substitute it back in, go back to your regular problem and do the order of operations. So looking at number 6, we see the equal sign right here. Sometimes you guys like to put a line down, to help you keep track of which side is on which side. All right, so now we got to get rid of the parentheses first, so we're going to distribute the 4, but we have to make sure that we know that this is a negative 4. Okay, so 2 is equal to 10c minus 8c, and then plus 36, because that's a negative 9. We see this is a negative 9. So here the like terms are the 10c and the negative 8c. So 2 is equal to 10 minus 8, 2c plus 36. If we subtract 36 from both sides, we should get that we have 36 minus 2 is 34. It's a negative 34 is equal to 2c divided by 2 divided by 2. So we should get a negative 17 equal to c. And then again, you could check your work by substituting in the negative 17. So if I do that, I'll have up here, I'll check my work. 2 is equal to, and then we would have 10 times the negative 17, and then minus the 4 times 2 times negative 17 minus 9. So 2 would be equal to negative 170 minus 4, and then inside the brackets we would have, oops, I should have put that way. 2 times a negative 17 is going to be a negative 34 minus 9. So again, we want to, on this side, minus 4. Negative 34 minus 9, so it's kind of like 34 plus 9. That's like 43, but it's negative 43. So 34 and 9, yep, negative 43. And then if you look at that as multiplying it times you could either multiply it times 4 and keep it negative, or you multiply it times negative 4 and get a positive. So 2 is equal to negative 170 plus 172, and you can see the negative 170 and the 172 would equal 2. So that works out.